some things a little bit, so the doors are opening, we're going to start seeing some.
Christmas, everyone. Please stand as you are able and join us in our opening carols, and please remain standing through our opening prayer.
To God, we come into this moment with our hearts open to receive the gift of the light of Christmas. May we be present to the gift that is born anew in us tonight. May we take this light with us into our lives, our homes, our families, our city, our world. Be born in us again, O light. Thank you, God. Amen. You may be seated.
Every church service needs announcements to be complete. And so I have just a few announcements for you this evening. So the church office will be closed for the remainder of the year, but who needs the church office when the bookstore is open? The bookstore is open until 7 p.m. tonight for all you last minute shoppers. I may head over there myself. We have a very special trip coming up in May to Ireland. It's a sacred travel. Reverend Mike will be taking a group of people, and we've seen that these sacred travel opportunities have really been of benefit to our community, so we have just a few spots left, so maybe you do that after the service. Go ahead and sign up. And you probably all received a handy-dandy handout when you came in through the door, and if you didn't, you can pick one up on your way out. This handout is designed to show you all of the things that we have to offer coming up in the next few months, including our Burning Bowl ceremony. That's next week, a week from today. That's a very special unity ceremony. We hope you can join us for that. Then the following Wednesday on January 8th, we have our White Stone ceremony, another annual tradition here at Unity, and that'll be in the Pyramid at 7 p.m. Join Reverend Shirley and myself for that. And then in January, we have a really exciting talk series called Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. Reverend Michael and I will be doing the series, and there will also be a chance for you to join a small group to take your discussion to a deep and meaningful level. And that completes our announcements for this evening.
Christmas story from the Gospels of Luke and Matthew. The angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to Mary, who was engaged to Joseph. Gabriel said to Mary, "Greetings, favored one. The Lord is with you. Do not be afraid, for you will bear a child, and you will name him Jesus. He will be called Son of the Most High. He will reign forever and ever, and his kingdom will have no end." Mary was perplexed and pondered these words, and the angel said to her, "Nothing is impossible with God." Then Mary said, "Here I am, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word." And the angel departed. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world, and everyone went to their ancestral homes to register. Joseph and Mary traveled to Bethlehem, the town of David, because Joseph belonged to the house of David. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in the bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. In that region there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. An angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for I am bringing good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Redeemer who is the Messiah. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." Sometime later, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." King Herod was disturbed by this news. He called together all the chief priests and teachers of the law and asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, for this is what the prophet has written." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so I too may go and worship him." After they heard the king, the wise men went on their way, and the star they had seen went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down in gratitude. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another way.
Traveled many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a baby inside, and I wonder what I've done. Holy Father, you have come, chosen me now to carry your son. I am waiting in a silent prayer. I am frightened by the load I bear in a world as cold as stone. Must I walk this path alone? Be with me now. Be with me now. Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven, lighten my darkness, pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven, do you wonder as you watch my face? If a wiser one should have had my place, but I offer all I am for the mercy of your plan. breath of heaven, breath of heaven, lighten my darkness, pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of
So this is the time in our service where we come together for our spiritual practice of meditation. So I invite you, if it feels comfortable for you, to go ahead and close down your eyes, or perhaps just lower your gaze. Take just a moment to arrange your body in a way that allows you to feel both comfortable and supported, alert yet relaxed. And the only other thing you need to do is simply breathe. Just be with your breath. The breath that is being breathed into you from the one source of all life is indeed the very breath of heaven that Siobhan so beautifully sang about. Our teacher Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is among us. The kingdom of heaven is within us, revealing itself in every breath that you take. So knowing at this time of year, we're particularly drawn to songs about light, songs of the light to come, the joy to come, to call peace to come. When right here, right now, simply by being aware of our breath, we come home to the reality that the peace is within us. The light is within us. The joy is within us. And so when our circumstances become challenging, when darkness obscures our path, when the way forward appears uncertain, we can come home to the truth that the holiness of God is being poured over us in every moment. That the peace of God is revealing itself in us, through us, as us. And all we need to do is to make it welcome. And so what I know and affirm for each person within the sound of my voice, that the light of the divine within you is calling you home to a greater experience of that peace, of that joy, of that one love that is in all of us. And so it is. Amen. exit stage, entrance stage. We're just you didn't think I was just going to meditate and leave. I need to talk about the offering. And so this is a time in our service that we really acknowledge the beautiful work that this ministry does in the world. And it's because of the gifts from people like you that make it all happen, through our volunteers and our staff and the financial good that is shared with this ministry. We are able to be a light in this world. And so now as the ushers come around with the offering bags, I invite everyone to say with me the offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. And so it is.
through another year.
Quartet, band, and Gary Norton, I think you wrote that song, didn't you? Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you, Gary. Merry Christmas. If you come regularly, and I know not all of you do, and that's okay, I've been talking about this moment for a while now. We do a lot of beautiful things throughout the year at Unity of Houston, but this is my favorite evening of the year. But you know I'm still going to give you a sermon joke. I wasn't too sure about it, but I tested out on my friend Michael Heron. He said it was up to par. And it's actually not even a written joke. It's a real thing that a woman, this is her story. Her name is Lindsay Sleeper, and this is real. She posted this on the internet, so you know it's true. It looked true. I never thought I would change my name when I got married because I was the first medical Dr. Newton in my family, and I'm very proud of that. But when presented with the opportunity to say, "Hi, I'm Dr. Sleeper, and I'll be your anesthesiologist," I couldn't pass it up. And Michael said that his brother had a doctor who treated his hemorrhoids, but I'm not going to tell you that one. It was equally apt, I'll just say that. Lately, I've gotten into this habit of signposting my messages, so I don't know why I'm doing that, except that maybe I'm getting older and it just helps me keep track of what I'm supposed to say. So I do have 3 points. They're kind of brief tonight that I want to share with you. The first one is going to be the yes and. The second is we need each other. We need each other. And the third point that I want to share with you tonight, our losses do not make us less. So I want to start with this quote from Alexander Shaya, and I have used this in almost every Christmas Eve service for the last several years since I came across it. He is a Christian mystic and theologian, contemporary. Christmas falls at the darkest moment of the year, but it's also at the very moment when the light is once again made visible to the naked eye. The deepest dark is not the place where grace goes to die. The deepest dark is where grace grows to be reborn. There was a time in the Unity movement, in the New Thought movement, when, because we are a positive, practical way of life and spiritual path, that we think, well, if we just focus on the positive, we're going to be good. Pay no energy, give no energy to the negative, and so that was kind of the way it was practiced. And there is some validity in that, but it's sort of an immature approach in some ways, because have you noticed? Life still happens. And you can pretend that it's not happening when things are difficult and disappointing and frustrating, even inconvenient. I mean, who likes inconvenience? But these things happen. And to simply ignore them is just denial, and that's not just a river in Egypt. It's not an effective spiritual tool. What we need is a robust and mature spiritual faith where we can look at what's happening in our lives, in the world, and know a deeper truth. And so this is the yes and. I got this from Krista Tippett. Many of you may know her podcast. She used to have a National Public Radio program called On Being, where it's not just about religion or spirituality. It's often philosophy, things like that, just a deeper understanding. And now it's a podcast. And she was talking about what she's seeing in the world, and particularly the way that the younger generations are approaching it, the millennials and the Gen Zs, that they're aware that they're inheriting a lot of our messes that we help to create. And what she was noticing is that they're prepared for a long journey of healing, and that they're willing to give themselves nourishment and replenishment along the path of the work. And she talked about the yes and that's what I want to talk about for just a moment, the idea that we can acknowledge that life is difficult sometimes, that we go through things collectively and individually and in our families that are just hard. And that's the yes. We can actually call it by its name. We can say, this is going on and this is hard. I am sad, I am angry, I am scared. We can say that. But then we want to move to the and. And the and, the way Krista describes it, that's where we tap into the creative potential of life. That there is, and what we would say in unity, that there is an innate divine intelligence, creative, inexhaustible, that will always be available to us no matter the circumstances or conditions of our lives. And we draw upon that power to bring us through these times better than we were before. We knew that the election was going to bring up some stuff. Did anybody notice that we had an election just last month? Is that possible? It was just last month. And so we have a team here at Unity, a leadership team. We're calling it the PATH team, where we're really seeking to help us, Lord, to help us find the way forward so that we can help our community to grow and deepen. And we realized in one of our meetings that we're probably going to want to bring some spiritual practice around the election. And so we created this series called, there are going to be, actually, we thought it was going to be 2, but now there's going to be a third one after the inauguration. And we're calling them Living Spiritual Principles in Uncertain Times. And that's what this is really about, is that we can go through difficult things together, and we can find tools and ways of being that will help us get through it. This is from Toni Morrison. I saw this interview, and she was talking about another election, and it was 2015 when she did the interview, so it wasn't the other one you think it might have been. But she was feeling just struggling with what she was seeing happening in the world. And she said that she found herself completely blocked. And this is Nobel Literature Prize-winning American author, Toni Morrison. And she was so shaken by what she was seeing in the world. And she called a friend, and her friend was like, "What do you mean you can't write? This is when you must write." And she said this, "In times of dread, artists must never choose to remain silent. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear." And what I would say is there's room for all of those things, but not to the point where it blocks your creative urge. Because even if you're not an artist, you are the artist of your own life. And when things are not going according to plan, that is the very moment to find your creativity, to find your inner resourcefulness, and to keep moving forward. Would you like some advice on how to do this? One mother said, "When I was talking about our agendas for the day, I told my 5-year-old I was a little nervous about a meeting. He said, 'Mama, I am nervous all the time. I know what to do.' So, friends, here is the advice that he could fit into the drive to school. Number 1, you got to say your affirmations in your mouth and your heart. You say, 'I am brave of this meeting. I am loved. I smell good.' And you can say 5 or 3 or 10 times until you know it. Number 2, you got to walk big. You got to mean it like Dolly on a dinosaur because you got this. Number 3, never put a skunk on a bus. Number 4, think about the donuts of your day. Thank you. Even if you cry a little, you can think about potato chips. Number 5, you got to take a deep breath, and then you got to do it again. And number 6, even if it's a yucky day, you can get a hug. And then she wrote, and there's an extra addition from the afternoon. Number 7, don't get distracted and your feet will stay on the sidewalk and not too full of snow. There you go. Which brings me to our next point. Even if it's a yucky day, you can still get a hug. We here at Unity of Houston are in the community business. We are not only here to teach individual practices and tools that you can take up in your own life, but we're here to help people get connected, to walk this life together through the yucky days and through the tough meetings. There is, I've been sharing this quite a bit, so I told Stacy back in the vestry before the service, the first 2 points are really kind of a highlight of the things that I've been talking about a lot on Sundays for the last 6 or 7 weeks. But I know I don't see all of you on Sundays. It's really new to some of you. And I want to, and those of us who are here all the time, this is still really alive for me. A few weeks ago, I was driving to Unity on a Sunday morning, and I was listening to a podcast, and it was the Krista Tippett On Being podcast, and they were talking, it was a panel discussion about this new field of study and creativity called biomimicry. And it's where people from all sorts of disciplines are seeking to borrow strategies from nature on how to build and create. Architects, organizational development people, just all sorts of people are looking, how does nature do this? And there was one of the experts on this panel that was saying, do you want to talk about nucleated reforestation? And Krista's like, sure, let's talk about that. What the heck is it? Well, many of you know that in a lot of places on the planet that entire just millions and millions of acres of forests have been just taken down, and it affects the environment. It's just it's not a good thing in many ways, and so there is, as you probably are aware, there is a huge effort to replace forests where they can. And this expert was saying that reforestation is really pretty easy. If you plant trees in places where those kind of trees once grow, they will grow. And she said that the way they normally do it is like plant row after row of a single species of tree like a cornfield, and you will get a forest. But it's not as healthy and diverse as a natural forest. And she said nucleated reforestation is a way that only takes 16% of the resources, and it's more effective. And you create what she called little welcoming islands. Far fewer trees, but more biodiversity, including some of the little critters that need to be around. And what happens is that welcoming island naturally draws into its experience, into itself, all the things needed to grow and expand. And all those little welcoming islands grow together. And when I heard this, I started crying. Because I realized that's what I'm trying to do here at Unity of Houston. That we live in a time when we're so divided as a culture. You know, I just heard this statistic recently. In 1950-something, they did a poll, would you not attend a family gathering because of political differences in the family? And it was 2% of the population said that was true. They did that poll again this year, it was 50%. It's not good. It's not healthy for any of us. And so my calling on my heart is here at Unity to build a community where we learn how to talk about differences. We learn how to be with people that feel differently than we do. We learn to stay anchored in the truth. And I don't know how to fix it in the world. Really, I don't even know how to fix it in this church some days, but I know that we can try. There's another quote, I was sharing this with my friend Cindy Wigglesworth, and she said, do you know about islands of coherence? There's the welcoming islands, and this actually is a similar idea. This comes from Nobel Prize-winning chemist Ilya Prigogine, we'll say that. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the entire system to a higher order. Completely different field, same concept. We work together here to build something that exemplifies the love that humanity can create together. Jesus said, they will know you are my disciples by what? By your love. By your love for one another. And if we can't do it here, what hope do we have? Dorothy Allison was an Appalachian writer and Pulitzer Prize. I don't know why I have all these Pulitzer Prize-winning writers for my quotes today. I do love literature. She said this, 2 or 3 things I know for sure, and one of them is that if we are not beautiful to each other, we cannot know beauty in any form. And that is the challenge, and that is the promise. I know what many of you are going through in your families. I know what many of you are going through in your friendships, in your workplaces. It's so easy to judge and blame and otherize, and that path leads to destruction of us all. When we begin scapegoating whole groups of people, it's a dark, dark path. Here at Unity, we can't. According to our philosophy and our theology, there are no others. And so at Unity, we stand with the immigrants and the refugees. We stand with the trans population. We stand together because we know we are one. There is no other. We do not dehumanize. And if we can do that work here in our community, maybe we can be one of those islands of coherence and welcome that shifts the whole system to a higher order. Jesus said in the Gospel of John, that was the we need each other point. Now we're on to our loss does not make us less. John 16:33, I've told you these things that you might have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. And the way we understand the Gospel of John, the way we understand that when Jesus said, greater things shall those do who come after, we take that literally. That Christ spirit, that Christ energy is available in us too. It is the Christ that has overcome the darkness of the world. And it's in me, and it's in you, and it's in the we. And tonight is not just a pretty service where we sing pretty songs and light pretty candles. It's an opportunity. It's a ceremony. Ceremony is so lost in our culture, and it's so powerful. It's a way of bringing something physically to change us spiritually and emotionally and mentally. And so as that candle comes to you today, I want you to be aware that this is a sacred invitation for you to overcome the world. For you to overcome the darkness in your own mind and your own heart. You are invited into your wholeness as you hold that candle tonight. And I don't know what darkness you are facing. I don't know what problems are in your present reality. But I know that Jesus said it. Fear not. The Christ, the one who knows its connection to the cosmos and the power and the creativity of God, has overcome the world. And it's here. We have experienced a lot of loss here in our church. A lot. I was watching the poinsettia donations, the memorials particularly. There's so many losses. And Reverend Cindy Klein she's been here forever, 30 plus years. She's been on staff, and she started when she was 12, she likes to say. But she, this year, she got ordained last year, and this year she became our pastoral care minister. And Reverend Mindy Lawrence Curtis, where is Mindy? I saw her here. She's here, our emerita pastoral care minister. She's got big shoes to step into with you, my dear. But Reverend Cindy has been talking about, this Christmas in particular, and Reverend Mindy has been sitting at deathbeds as well, as I have. Last Wednesday, we went with our wonderful Manny from the choir, and I had a feeling it was the last time that I would be with him, and there were 4 of his choir sisters, 3 of whom are actual sisters, were there with him, and his best friend, Suzanne, and he was feeling pretty good that day. He was at Houston Hospice, and we laughed. I mean, he talked about some of his wild days, and we got a kick out of it. I'm a minister God has found a way into the church by singing in a bar, so I'm aware of all sides of life, and we may have even said a cuss word or two, I don't know. But we also sang some beautiful, he grew up Catholic, and so did the Harvey sisters, so they sang some songs that I didn't know, but I found a harmony part and joined right in. And then we sang some choir songs. Mary Ann had brought one of my Christmas songs. We sang that. And we watched a video of Manny singing at the last choir karaoke night, singing "You Raise Me Up." And he told us what songs he wants at his service, and we're going to do that probably in February. He passed away. Was it just yesterday morning? Yeah. Gosh, it's hard to see someone that you love who has such light, who came into this community and found a church that finally really, really liked him just the way he is. We loved him. And to love him right on to the next, whatever part of his journey in the cosmic, eternal thing that we call life. I miss him already. And that's just one. That's the most recent. We had another. Miss Myrtle Davis passed away recently. Her service was yesterday. But the really big one that I knew was going to be hard this year was our Boris Britt. I know how many of you have never been to a Christmas Eve service in the last 10 years here? So most of you know who he is. Along with Ken, Boris, and I, we were the 3 Unity tenors for years and years. And we sang "O Holy Night" every Christmas Eve. Beautiful arrangement. Ken did the vocal parts. I mean, it's good. We prayed for Boris for years to get that kidney transplant. And every time, he still showed up and he sang. And if it was soon after his dialysis, he would be strong and he could do it. And there were days he just struggled to get through a Sunday service. And he got the transplant in the spring. And he was doing great. And then this summer, a random lung infection took him out in 12 hours. And he was gone. And that one really hit close. And it just kind of hit this whole community like a kick in the stomach. And we had a beautiful memorial. Reverend Howard spoke, I spoke. And I want to just share one of the things I shared at the service. Our Christmas concert, we do it the first Saturday of December. And a couple of years ago, I came in, and Boris was a man who liked to dress. He was impeccable in his wardrobe. And we came in for the rehearsal the day of the show, and he's wearing just black slacks and a black turtleneck. And I said, "Boris, you look amazing, but this is so understated for you." And he said, "Child, this is for rehearsal. I have 3 costumes for the show." And he did. That same weekend, right here on a Sunday morning, I noticed something on the stage. I've been over and picked it up, and it was a little jewel from probably one of Boris's outfits. We don't know. Nobody knew where it came from, but I've been holding on to it. Just as a little wink from Boris on the other side. In many ways, I've been dreading this night. That's probably too strong of a word. I was really unsure how we were going to do Christmas Eve without Boris. And we talked about it. In the beginning, I couldn't talk about it. But then, I don't know, starting in September, October, Ken and I began to plan and talk about it. And I know that I knew we had to bring it forward. We can't pretend that Boris didn't die. And what I remembered were the words of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She's sort of the godmother of grief. She says this: "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." And so tonight, I want to bring our grief forward. I don't want to hide it. I miss him. He was my friend for many years, my collaborator. He could tease me in ways that I would not let anybody else do. When I was in London with some friends in February, I went to the Camden Market and I saw this beautiful blue velvet jacket with red piping, and I bought it because I was not going to let him show me up at the Christmas concert again. He would have, believe me, but I wore it this year in honor of my friend Boris Britt. And that's what I want to do now. I want to honor him. We don't get over it. I don't know if all of us have experienced loss, and particularly if you're my age or older, you've experienced a lot of loss. Recently, I heard someone who lost his mom when he was in college, and he said, I kept thinking I'm going to get over it, And he said, what I finally realized is that I'm not going to get over it. I'm going to carry this loss with me in one hand while I build my life with the other. And that's what we do. We carry it forward. We love them. We let their love continue to deepen us, to grow us, and to make us more beautiful. So tonight, Boris is going to be with us. And probably just for this year, we're going to hear his voice singing O Holy Night. If you'll show the video.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, a weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night, oh, when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we. Let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise light of faith serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by the cradle we stand. So led by light of a star sweetly gleaming, there came the wise men from the Orient land. The King of Kings lay thus in lowly manger. In all our trials, born to be our friend. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night divine. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when love was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night. Oh,
That's for you, Boris. So I invite the ministers to come on stage as the choir comes on stage. It's time for our candle lighting. So as we ushers, if you're ready, if anyone did not get a candle and a drip guard, please raise your hands right now so they can bring those to you. So down front we have some people that need to get a candle and you want one of the drip guards. Make sure that, keep your hand raised, they will find you. There is an affirmation attached to the bottom of your candle, and you want to take that off. You may as well go and take that off now and put it in your pocket, or just make sure that you get that before you leave tonight. Now here come the really important pieces. If your candle is lit and you're passing the light to someone near you, keep your candle upright. Lit candles do not tip because they drip wax all over the place. So if you have an unlit candle, you tip it into the lit candle. We love having our kids with us in this part of the service, but parents, please watch your kids. That's all we need to say about that. And as you leave tonight, at the end of the service, you will see gold boxes by all the exits, and that's where you place your candles as you leave. And so now we will do what we do. We sing "O Holy Night," and then we'll move into another piece of music, The lights will lower, and we will hold this light that comes to us tonight as the invitation to be the light in the world that Jesus told us we are. get the lights lowered all the way. Thank you. This is the moment. I recently heard Nikki Giovanni in an interview. She just passed away. And she said, we're never as bad as we think we are, and we're never as good as we hope we are. But this is an opportunity for us to commit to being more of who we hope to be. Out of the dark, there comes a spark now, a promise of love in the night. Simple and pure, steady and sure now, something begins in this life. One light, one light.
One becomes two, softly and truly, hearts being warmed by the glow. It lives in us all, it's love that is calling. And now the light seems to grow. One light, one light. Older than the stars, born again this night.
There is so much light in this room. Each one of you is a promise of a better world. And you may be at a place where you don't even know if you have a better life ahead of you. But I promise the best is yet to come for you and through you. I invite you now to raise your candles and look around the room and look at the light reflected in the windows around us. How beautiful we are. We are the light of the world. As we extinguish our candles, we take this light into our hearts and we breathe in the joy of Christmas.